I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, dude?
Man, you already know what's up. It's another episode brought to you by DRAFTKINGS Sportsbook. You know, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. I mean, for me, I absolutely love it. Not only do I love it because it gives me the opportunity to make more money, but I love it because, number one, it's safe. Number two, it's secure. And more importantly, it is reliable. Meaning, hey, if I win, I get my money on time. It's no debate. I don't have to go look for anyone. I love that element of it. And they got the promo code Moats. Mm-hmm. And with that promo code, I think it's something cool that happens. I remember what it is. Something with $1,000 worth of deposit bonus money. I mean, who doesn't love a little deposit bonus money, right?
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. I mean, it's like extra money. It's like, hey, you want to give me money? I'm going to give you a little bit extra money because you're a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. We're going to work together with this thing. That's what DraftKings is doing. So what are you waiting on? Download the app. All my first-time users out there, make sure you use the promo code Moats, and let's get an opportunity to get some money, baby. That's all we want is an opportunity. And speaking of opportunities, we got a great opportunity to go 10-0 this week. I mean, we're rare because when you look at all the different NFL teams, all the different NFL fan bases, it's only one. It's only one that has that opportunity to go 10-0 this week. And that happens to be us residing in sunny Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I'm excited, man, because this is a great matchup, bro. I don't know how you feel about this, man. Well, but I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. And for me, I look at this matchup. The Jaguars are on tape. They haven't, I mean, this is the thing. They play well, but personnel-wise, they don't have enough. And to me, I even thought back, I know we talked a little bit off air about some of the different teams that we've seen the Steelers go up against, where it was Cowboys, the Broncos, and teams like that. I feel like this team, they're a weird mix. They play disciplined enough to keep them in games, but they don't have enough talent to help them win those games. Does that make sense?
I think that's 100% accurate. I'm with you 100%. Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I watch them on tape. I'm like, they generate some turnovers. I mean, we saw that they created 2 big-time stops against Aaron Rodgers was a week ago. And then even on offense, it's like they run the ball decent. I mean, James Robinson, he's been looking really good, especially as an undrafted free agent. I mean, what he's been able to do this year.
5th in rushing yards.
Yeah, so you see some of the things they're able to do. Even their 2 receivers, DJ Chark and Keelan Cole. They're having sneaky good seasons as well. Both, I mean, for Keelan, he's on a career year path right now. Obviously, he had the punt return for a touchdown as well. So he's a little multifaceted, but it's still, it's not enough. And then obviously with them being down Gardner Minshew, they're going
I'd say that's the main thing. I don't know how much better their record would necessarily be. Maybe they have an extra win or two, but it goes back to the whole Cowboys thing. I think their talent is a little bit less, so no Zeke for them at running back. Receivers are definitely good. Like you said, I like Chark a lot, but as a whole, it's not the Cowboys level. And then you have the quarterback. Who's better, him versus Gilbert? I don't know. I mean, it's still... You're on either backup or your 4th string. It's just not a good situation to be in for your offense.
And I think the guy's name was Jake Luton, right? That's how you say it?
Yep.
Jake Luton. So even with Jake, I think the difference between Jake and Gilbert, I do give a little bit more respect to Jake because he's had to play, multiple games now, whereas with Gilbert, that was his first opportunity. And we talked about how in the past, when it's your first time out there, sometimes because teams don't have enough film on you, you can get away with it. And we knew that coming from the XFL, he had already had some success this season. It wasn't as if, he hadn't played at all and then he just kind of got this opportunity. But with Jake though, man, the thing, he does some cool things. I mean, he doesn't look overwhelmed. I think that's the biggest thing I'm trying to allude to, because some of these younger quarterbacks, they look overwhelmed. Even when we watched Ben DiNucci get his first start 2 or 3 weeks ago, at times he looked overwhelmed. Jake hasn't given us that vibe just yet, but obviously from a talent standpoint, he doesn't possess what you need in terms of really attacking you from a passing standpoint. So that's where they're always going to be limited under him, always going to be capped under him. And I mean, that's kind of what you expect when you talk about just later round picks. This guy's a 6th round pick. So you already understand that he's going to have some efficiency or inefficiencies and stuff like that just from a talent standpoint. And you're seeing that when you watch him on tape, man.
I think it's talent. And I think too, they're able to move the ball here and there, just like short passes, conservative passes. I don't think that's going to be enough for our defense. I think we're going to expose that. But the times they do take the shots, they've been 50-50. So I think that's the main thing with me for him. I don't think he does have the talent, but also some of the decision-making too, where, all right, they're moving the ball a little bit, but then an errant pick just kind of blows it for them. And that's the thing with them. If they want to stay in games, which they can, just from, like you said, the fundamental standpoint of them playing a game all 4 quarters, to have those type of turnovers, that's going to kill you. And I think that's what happened in the Texans game. He threw a really bad pick. Did they return it to the house? Or
I want to say they did. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's kind of the main thing there. It's if he plays conservative, I think they could maybe stay in it a little bit more than they would if he wasn't throwing picks. But I think our defense is that good.
You know what I equate when I watch them on tape? It reminds me of if we're watching a basketball game, right? You got this juggernaut team on the other side, and you're like, man, we can't run up and down the floor with them. So what are we going to do? We're going to take the air out the ball. We're going to slow it down. We're 4 corners. We're going to use the shot clock and really make it just this low scoring. You have to execute every possession type game. That's what I see when I watch them. When I watch them versus the Packers, man, I never felt that they had the talent to even be on the same field as those guys across the board. But they did a really good job of just making the Packers have to execute. They eliminated a lot of the big plays and make you have to go, 7 to 10 play drives. And then also on their offense, when they played conservative in terms of running the ball with James Robinson and then the short to intermediate passes with the 2 receivers, it kept them in there. And then you get a punt return for a touchdown. And now you're like, whoa, all right, we got a game.
And Rodgers throws a couple bad picks.
Absolutely. So when I see them, that's what it looks like. They're trying to take, like I said, take the time off the clock. Like, just, we're going to kill this clock right here and then make you have to operate. And you should be able to. And trust me, I don't think the Steelers have an issue moving the ball on them, but they are just solely waiting to capitalize on your mistake because they don't have the personnel to just flat out beat you. And I think for us, that bodes well because you've seen the Steelers on offense. They've been doing a really good job protecting the ball this year. I mean, it's been night and day, not only from Ben, but from a ball security standpoint, even in the fumbles department.
Yeah.
Everything from in that standpoint, man, they've been doing a great job. And it's a reason why their turnover differential is so good in terms of being in favor for the Steelers. The Jaguars, because that's what they lean on and base all of their hope and dreams on, I just think that's a bad situation for them because, number one, we don't turn the ball over. And number two, we do a great job of generating turnovers as well. So that's why, for me, I'm very, very confident and excited in the Steelers this weekend.
I'm confident too. It just comes down to if we beat ourselves and do dumb stuff ourselves. Like the Cowboys game, we talked about going into that. How the hell are the Cowboys going to be in this? I just don't really see a scenario. It's just got to be a bunch of fluky things, like special teams, like maybe a turnover or, they take a shot and they're able to get something down the field on us for like a 60 or 70 yard touchdown. And that's how the Jaguars have been able to stay in these past 2 games with Luton. Like right off the bat in the Texans game, there was a bomb to charge for a touchdown. They've gotten some turnovers on Rodgers, the punt return touchdown. So that's going to be essentially it. Punt
return touchdown really changed the game because before that happened, it looked like it was about to get out of hand. It looked like the Packers were about to go on this run and ultimately make it a 2 and 3 score game. They returned the punt and that changed the whole dynamic of it. And then you get a turnover after that. So it was just negative on top of negative for the Packers. But that's the thing though, right? For all of those things that have went right for the Jaguars, in the end, you still saw what was the difference. They could not stop the talent that the Packers had. And that was the biggest difference. I think that if it's a scenario where we're turning the ball over and they generate a touchdown or they generate something positive through defense or special teams, I think it keeps the game closer. But I still think that we have more than enough, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, to make those plays at the end of the game to pull it out, very similar to what the Packers did.
Yeah, and us versus the Cowboys. And what's interesting, too, is I know their defense was interesting. I don't know if we want to just get into now their defense versus our offense or whatever, but what's interesting about them in the Texans game, their line's terrible. They were able to get a decent amount of pressure on Watson. And, like, I know he had 50 yards rushing, but he had to make a lot of plays happen for himself in the rushing game and also just passing as well.
Well, and remember for them now, Josh Allen, that's their like main defensive end. He's questionable, I think, coming into this game, but they still have the younger rusher. I think was out of LSU, Kayvon Chasen. He's a younger guy. I think was a second-round pick, I want to say, this season for those guys. So he's available to them. But other than that, I mean, I'm more impressed with...
They got the middle linebackers, Jack and Schobert.
For me, it's more linebackers and secondary with C.J. Henderson. Obviously, he was the, number 5 or 6? I think it's a top 10 pick either way.
Yeah.
Like, it's those type of guys that are intriguing. But with C.J., he plays well, but he's inconsistent. He's a rookie, which you expect. With Joe Schobert, I mean, he's a good player. We talked about him.
He had success against us last year. Yeah, but we had Mason.
But no, as a whole, though, he had a really good season in Cleveland, which is why the Jags paid him nicely to go down there. So he does bring you that. And with Miles is a really good player. I don't think he ever lived up to the expectations of who he was, though, coming out of UCLA. So with that, it still doesn't seem like enough. When we go down the list of their corners in terms of C.J. Henderson, I'm going to pull up the other two.
I don't think it's going to be enough for them.
Like, I'm looking at C.J. Henderson right now, and the other corner is Sidney Jones, who's questionable. So you're either looking at potentially Trey Herndon or was this Luke Barco, or I think that's how you say his name. But that none of those guys match up well with any of our receivers. Even if C.J. is out there, I like Deontay Johnson going against C.J. I love Claypool versus C.J. Even Juju versus CJ, James Washington, like, I don't see anybody in that secondary that threatens me like that or makes me feel concerned. Like I said, for me, man, when I watch them, they capitalize on your mistakes. And that's it. So as long as they take care of the ball, and talking about the Steelers here, as long as they can take care of the ball, I think that they can run it on this defense. And I definitely know for a fact they'll be able to pass on this defense, man.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to protecting Ben, because what I want to say, too, with the whole Watson thing, I think that's more or less with the Texans line. It was weird in the Packers game, and I think it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning. This is just a weird team, because there were times I felt they were able to get pressure on Rodgers.
But
other times, he's sitting back there forever.
It was super weird. I agree
and the time they did get pressure on Rodgers was when he made the mistakes, when he made the pick. So it goes back to the whole thing of, all right, let's just not make mistakes. If they're able to just get pressure on us randomly for a couple times in a series, throw it away, or just, the check down, whatever it is. Let's not give the ball in their hands and make it a close game.
Absolutely.
It's all on us. I mean,
and I forgot, they have another sneaky, he's kind of a sneaky pass rusher, Aaron Lynch. Remember, he used to be with the 49ers, I want to say. He had some success out there and with the Bears as well. So he's another guy, but like you said, it's weird. At times, they look like they cannot generate a pass rush, and then you'll see them just flash, and you're like, whoa. So you are capable of that. So, but that's the mark of a team when you talk about a 1-18. The inconsistencies, that's what you get when you don't have premier talent across the board. We're not saying that this Jaguars team is going to roll over, and I don't want you to think that this is going to be some 4-touchdown blowout. That's not what we're saying either, because they are very, like I said, they're very disciplined. They don't.
We got to be on our P's and
Q's.
And
that's the thing, like, we can run it up and blow them out if they were to play that style of game, but that's not them. They want to slow this game down and make it as low scoring as possible. So even though we're gonna, I'm telling you for a fact, we're gonna be watching this game, especially if it goes how we think it should go. We're gonna be watching it, and we're gonna be like, man, we are in control the whole time, but I don't think it's gonna ever be more than a 2-score game, because the way they play the game, that's just, they slow it down like that. I don't think we're gonna be able to have one of those, man, we got 40-3. They just don't give you those type of opportunities right now, man.
Yeah, unless we're able to get a shot or two early.
Right.
But at the same,
create some turnover. If we create the turnovers, then I do see that happening. But like I said, they do a good job protecting the ball.
Yeah, it'd kind of be like the Browns game. It'd be that type of formula for it to be a blowout. It would just be in the first half, and
it would have to happen right now, just out the gate, because that's not their game, man.
Yeah, because I could see it going a scenario where, we're completely controlling the clock. We're taking 6-7 minutes off of it, and then maybe randomly we have to kick a field goal, or maybe we get a touchdown the next series. But then also, if they're the ones just killing the clock too, and then they get a field goal, it could be just not a high scoring game because of how much clock is just drained on both sides.
Even though we're in control the whole time. Absolutely, man.
You could see that happening. But either way, it's going to hopefully feel like, all right, we're in control of this game. Almost like in the first half, in my opinion, even though the score was close with the Steelers-Bengals game, I just never felt like, oh, man, they're going to score on us or anything. I feel like we got this if we just keep doing our thing here.
And in fact, I'm even more confident than the Bengals situation, because at least with the Bengals, you kind of had to always say in the back of your head, well, they do have Joe Burrow. Their receivers are good. Could he creates some type of spark in the second half. With Jacksonville, because knowing that they need to run the ball to at least keep them on schedule, and knowing, especially with Tyson being back and then the potential of Mike Hilton being back as well, that's not going to be there for them. I mean, as good as James Robinson has looked on tape, that element isn't going to be there, because that is for a fact one of the things that we do really well, especially when we have our full gamut of guys, which we're going to have going into this game. So that's why for me, I'm like, a one-dimensional Jags team where Jake Luton has to throw this ball 30 times, potentially 40 times, that's going to end terribly for those guys over there, man.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think of the whole us versus Jacksonville narrative in play with this game?
What do you mean?
Everyone's just like, it's Jacksonville. We've had struggles with them over the past however many years. This is actually kind of, I guess, a game for us to be motivated for, just to, take care of business.
I mean, I've even heard people call it a rivalry just because of you think of the history of, all right, with Jalen Ramsey and how he was able to have success on Ben. Then remember, they knocked us out of the playoffs. Then obviously the year after that, we go down to Jacksonville, win right at the end. They were just saying because of the familiarity with a lot of the personnel. I mean, in terms of Steelers people, there's still a lot of us still here from those Jacksonville games. And then for the Jags, they still got some people there that was a part of some of these games as well. They're saying because of that could add to it. I've heard that narrative, and then I also heard, is it a trap game narrative as well, man? So for me, I don't think it's either, honestly. I mean, I understand they want to.
I feel the same.
Yeah, I don't think it's a rivalry, because when I think of rivalry, I think of like how we are with the Patriots, right? How because we saw each other so many times in significant games, that natural just like, hatred for each other became to grow. Whereas with Jacksonville, we look at it more so as, man, I personally have felt that they've taken advantage of some of our off days. And because I feel like if we play to our full potential anytime we're on the field against Jacksonville, we should win convincingly. And that has been the case when we've played well. But at the same time, in the recent history, they've caught us a couple of times, a little bit less than ready, in the words of Coach Tomlin. But either way, man, I don't see them doing enough. And for the trap game narrative, the reason I don't think it's a trap game either is because when you're sitting at 9-0,
we need this bye, dude. Like I really stand like pretty hard on this. That I think we just got to keep winning these games.
And now, see, for you, you're banking on the bye. For me, I'm not even thinking about the bye, because I'm already anticipating the NFL hitting us with the okie doke. We're going to expand the playoffs, which ends the bye.
Well, what happened recently? The
Raiders right now,
that game's got to be close to being canceled.
Yeah, well, because right now the Raiders' whole starting defense is quarantined. They're not allowed to be in the facility. And they're like, well, if they don't test positive, they can go out here and play in the game. With Big Ben and Vince Williams last week, I mean, cool. Okay, those are two people we're talking about. If we said the whole offensive unit or the whole defensive unit couldn't practice all week and just show up in game day,
against Mahomes.
Against Mahomes, you're like, what? Are you serious right now? Like, it's crazy to think about. So, yeah, that's why for me, I'm like, it's only a matter of time, because another thing, why do the Raiders keep popping up in this? I felt like they were just in this scenario 2 weeks ago with Trent Brown in the offensive line.
Well, they had a party at the beginning of the year.
They had the party at the beginning of the year as well, yeah. And then remember, Gruden had got fined because he was not wearing a mask on the side. Like, it's dude,
Vegas.
At least with the Titans, it was like one incident that just took 10 days to 14 days to get settled. With this, it's like, bro, it's 4 separate incidents. Like, what are we doing out there in Vegas, man? What are y'all doing? So that's why, for me, I still feel a little concerned in terms of this whole bye week. I don't think it's going to happen. I understand how the NFL operates, understanding the money associated with the playoffs. I just don't see them allowing that carrot that's dangling right now, because they've already talked about expand. They want more. And this is giving them those opportunities. So for me personally, I'm just waiting on it. I'm waiting on the playoffs expanded. No first round buys. I'm just waiting on it, man.
I get that. And then the other thing, though, in terms of rivalry or, I don't know, the extra motivation with this game, which I don't feel like we need to have one way or another. Let's just keep winning. I think there's a good just vibe with this team and everything. Yeah. But the other thing is, like, all those players on those Jaguars teams are basically gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, the big thing with Jalen Ramsey and some of those other dudes on the defense, you don't have Bortles anymore. Fournette's not there.
Miles Jack, he was one. Josh Allen might have been there for the second, not the playoff year, the one where we actually were been. Remember, it's down in Jacksonville. And
was Josh Allen a rookie last year, though?
No, I don't. I have to check.
I can't. Well, it's either last year or the year prior.
The year before, yeah, I was because I thought that was his rookie year, so I have to double check it. But I mean, at least like I said, for defense, Miles Jack. For offense, definitely Greg Robinson. He was there. we definitely remember having some. I mean, Greg Robinson, excuse me, the tackle. Yeah, so there's definitely been some exchange, some heated exchange with some of the edge rushers and that young individual right there. But for me, man, I think when you're 9-0, none of that matters. You're more focused on being 10-0.
Yeah,
I think that's the stage that we're in right now. I feel like if this team had already had a loss, if they were like 9-1 or 8-2 or a scenario like that, I think then you could worry about a trap game or potential quote unquote time game.
So you think we're thinking about the 16-0 a little bit as we're getting closer and closer?
I don't think it's something that's talked about because, as I told you numerous times with Coach Tom, whatever the goal is at the beginning of the year, that's never going to change. And even when you listen to Ben just talked, I think it was yesterday. He said he's not, the 16-0 is great, but that's not the focal point. The focal point is the Super Bowl. That's always been the case. This is like it's cool. This is extra. Kind of like winning the division. I mean, if you win them all and you win the division, it helps you. But the Super Bowl is the final prize. That's the only thing that this team is really concerned about. But I just feel like when you're sitting at 9-0, you're just so locked in. You're so accustomed to this mode of winning that you're going to do whatever it takes to continue that on. And I just don't feel like the Jaguars present enough issues to knock them off. I don't, and I'm not saying that the game could potentially be ugly. It could be an ugly game. I think it's going to be one of those, they just making it just drag along. But this isn't a team that is good enough to beat this Pittsburgh Steelers team, man.
Yeah, and from the sound of our preview here, if that's the case, I don't think that's going to be cause for concern because of just how we're previewing it. Like, we could see this scenario playing out. Like, the Packers are a pretty decent team, although I think a lot of that was on them. Now, if you want to be if you want to be concerned about us, maybe I'm kind of flipping on what I said there, but I don't think like us versus the Packers. I think we're a step up from the Packers, and just
we're everything, more complete team than the Packers,
and everything we've done up to this point. I just don't see the 2 random turnovers happening. Maybe the punt return, but like I guess maybe after the Cowboys game.
Hold on, you gonna say maybe the punt return? Like Ola didn't just force a whole fumble on a punt. Like, what are we talking about here, man?
No. Here's what I'm saying is like I think we learned from the Cowboys game that we're not gonna let that happen again from here on out. So, yeah, I just don't see it. I think a double-digit win is what could be happening for us here.
It's going to be interesting, man. Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting. Either way, I still like the Steelers to get this and take care of business, man, because, like I said, as a whole, I just feel like we're playing too well right now. And another thing is this. So, we understand Super Bowl is the main focus, but another thing that a couple of players I know are thinking about when you talk about Big Ben, I mean, you could make the whole case, well, man, it's an MVP race, right? So, he's going to want to play well. But take the MVP race out of it. The last 3 times Ben has played against the Jaguars, he has not had his best games. We know that second one in the divisional round of the playoffs, he heated up and it turned into a really good game. But even then, he started out slow.
He would probably say that wasn't his best effort. Although, I think the second quarter on, it was just complete dominance.
But it was just the slow start. And then obviously we know what happened in the first one. And even in the third one, it ended well for him. But throughout the game, he still had some turnovers and stuff like that. So he's already said that this is a game that he wants to go out there and play well in and kind of get that bad vibe out of him as well. So that's why for me, I'm like, knowing that 7 is motivated, regardless if it's through the MVP race or if we're talking about just the history of him versus Jacksonville, I like motivated 7 versus this team right here because just their secondary isn't good enough to match up with our players. And knowing what we have in stake, knowing what we have in front of us, dude, this is a game where I feel like they go down there and take care of business.
Do we know the weather for this game?
I mean, it's Jacksonville. It's always good.
I wish I would have checked.
It's
but
always nice
I guess you don't know about the rain element.
Well, this is the thing, though, with the rain. Typically, like, every time I played in Jacksonville, man, if it does rain, it's like a quick
I'm gonna check
midday and it's done, man. Like, that's Florida. Florida, man, it doesn't have a whole bunch of just rain all day, man. I think they're good to go, bro.
Okay, hold on. Let me check. Let me check real quick.
Deke playing weatherman today.
I thought about that and I forgot to look it up.
Weather make you nervous?
No, it's not. It's just the style of game, potentially.
I think it's still gonna be the same, man.
All right, hold on. I typed in Jacksonville Jaguars. That's not what I wanted to type in. Jacksonville weather. 1 o'clock game. All right, hold on. It's 64 right now. Precipitation 20%, 75 and sunny. So we're good.
It's Jacksonville. People don't move to Florida for a whole bunch of rain. They move to Florida because it's nice. Come on, baby.
You never know.
My man said, what about the weather, though? Now, my question to you is this, though.
Whoa.
Do you think we can get the running game back on track this week? Jacksonville, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, they're not a good run defense.
We said it last week, kind of. Bengals rush defense was one of the worst in the league.
Is this a get back on track game for the running game?
You hope so. It goes back to everything about this game is about us. So do I have faith in ourselves getting it back? It's not really about their defense or anything or what they're doing. I hope. I don't. Right now, based off the last 3, I'm not feeling too confident in it. But let's try. I say let's try. But I don't know. I'm not opposed to abandoning the mission quicker and quicker. I think I heard. Who did I hear? Someone on ESPN. I don't want to say a name because I don't exactly remember who it was. But they said I think it was for the last game against the Bengals. We should start off going 4 or 5 wide right off the bat. But everything we've talked about is is that going to be the best idea in the long term where we just completely abandon the run?
Well, and I think this as well, because I got a couple of things with from a media standpoint, but I think the first thing is people will talk about, oh yeah, man, just go pass first, go empty, go let Ben do this and all that right now because we haven't seen a negative of it, right? It's all been positive. But I feel like this first time we go out there and we completely just say we're not worried about the run and we drop a game where the performance is terrible.
Get the run game, yeah.
Exactly. We're going to go right back.
We're so one-dimensional.
Right. So that's why for me, I'm like, people are saying that to kind of just drum it up, but we all know you have to have a running game. I mean, we even talked about even with Mahomes last year in the Super Bowl, the running game had to be there. Otherwise, you don't even get the opportunity for Mahomes to play Superman at the end of the game. But the other thing I was going to ask you, well, not even ask you, but just make you aware of. I know you're constantly talking about the national media, not talking about the Steelers, not talking about the players. Ben Roethlisberger was the AFC Player of the Week this week, man. Did you know that? That's a national award.
I posted it on my Instagram. I think that has to do with fan voting, though. No,
I'm just saying in general. I mean, typically, I want to say it's a part of it, but
I don't know if is that the same. Is that the same as the FedEx Air Player of the Week?
No, that's the vote. That's that you vote on.
I voted because I voted on that.
That's the vote one. But the NFL, they do their own. That's not fan voting in terms of just who they call the Player of the Week. The FedEx one, that's when you click and vote. Yeah, that's different, right? But he was the AFC Player of the Week, man. That's big time. That's media. That's everybody saying, you know what? We recognize you. Not only
it's about time.
I mean, not about time. I mean, they've been having the Steelers as a team ranked in the top 3 for the past couple of weeks as well, man. I mean, you turn on the TV right now, I get sick of watching the TV because it's just so much Steeler right now, man. That's what I'm saying, man. We even had Ryan Clark, former Steeler, Super Bowl champ. He even had the terrible towel on ESPN going at Stephen A, talking about Stephen A flip-flopping too much, always looking for the negative. So, I mean, trust me, man, it's been everywhere. So if you haven't seen it, I don't know what y'all watching because every time we talk about this, right? And I go look in the comments kind of like how you said, right? And there's people always saying the same thing. I'm like, man, look, I had to go double, triple check for myself. It's a lot of Steeler talk on TV right now. A lot. And we're going to continue that thing going on YouTube as well. So y'all already know, man, we're going to keep the Steeler talk rolling, baby.
Interesting.
Yeah, man, but he was AFC Player of the Week, man. I know
that. Yeah, that was great.
I was also surprised. They said that was only his, I think, 17th or 18th time. And I'm like, you would think that he would have that award so much more.
This is that bias that we're talking about.
That's crazy. I'm like, man, the dude's... So you mean to tell me he's only worth one Player of the Week once a year? Like, what? I could go off the top of my head, think of 3 games off the top. Well, I'm like, that should have been a clear cut. Like, who was winning? We'll have to look into that a little bit more, though. Because you never know.
Anything else with this game here? Off the top of your head?
Any X Factors?
X Factors? Oh, that's interesting, actually. Because their kicker, he missed an extra point in the Texans game.
Here we go. Let's go. Deke with the kickers.
I don't know if I have an X Factor here. Right. A specific one in mind. I think we're going to get a pick or two. I think we can maybe get a pick 6. I don't know who it's going to be. Is it going to be Minka? Can we get another one from him this year?
I hope Edmonds gets one, man. He deserves one.
He's definitely been due.
He's been around the ball a lot. I mean, getting his hand on it, man. PBUs galore. We need that interception, though. Edmonds, is your time, baby. It's your time.
Maybe a Mike Hilton sack thrown in there. I think that's possible.
Okay.
I don't know. X Factor, though. I don't know if I have one this game.
I look at Mike Hilton getting a sack as like TJ getting a sack. I kind of expect it now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I don't know if I could say. I don't know if I could say X Factor.
I got my X Factor if you want to think a little bit.
I'll think a little bit. I think it's just going to be one of the receivers. Maybe two of the receivers going on.
Ray McLeod punt return for a touchdown, baby. I'm calling it. This is the week. We had Jacksonville had a touchdown return last week, so you already know they feeling hot and spicy. Ray been on the cusp for a couple of weeks now. I feel like this is the week, man. I'm putting it down right now. The same way you going 27-13, I'm throwing in Ray McCloud punt return touchdown, baby. I feel good now.
It could definitely happen. He's due. You talk about Edmonds getting an interception.
Overdue, man.
He's definitely due for that.
You know what we got to do?
It's just tough, dude. I don't know. There's nothing sticking out. Everything else I've done in terms of research, I've looked. I'm like, all right, I think Ebron might have a good game here. Mm-hmm. Just looking at deficiencies, I think it's too simple to say like just one of these receivers are going off. Maybe two of them.
But to me, I'm just like, every week we say that.
I know.
I mean, every week one of the. I mean, it's more so pick your poison. Which receiver is going to lead the team?
X Factor is one of those things. It's like an unexpected.
Yeah, we don't expect it, right?
I don't know if I have that. Man, I don't know if I have that for you today.
X Factor, I think Bennett throw for a touchdown. Like, yeah, he better. One of these go off. Yeah, they better.
Hold on, is McFarland back? Is he gonna be back this week?
I think he will. He's supposed to be. Yeah.
Is that a stretch?
I mean, it depends what you're saying. He gonna have 100 yards rushing,
50, maybe a touchdown thrown in there.
Okay,
a little catch out the backfield. It all depends on if we want to use him, though. Because Tomlin's still saying Connor's the bell cow, although we've seen in Cowboy games, we've seen in some games past, McFarland getting some snaps there.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Steelers are interested in him. They're intrigued a little bit what he could bring to the table.
They better. They used the 4th-round pick on him. What are we talking about here?
True. All right, if McFarland plays, I think he could be an X Factor.
I like it then.
I think he could. I don't know what the yard is going to be. Maybe it's a touchdown. Maybe it's just something that sticks out. You're like, oh, this kind of flipped the game a little bit for us.
You know the thing that's funny right now?
What?
This is reminding me of last year when we used to do the tailgates, right?
Okay.
And we would ask for predictions.
Yeah.
And we would just take probably 20, 30 different clips of people giving predictions. And it's like, oh, we got one. There we go. So me and you just keep talking about X Factors. Eventually, we're going to hit on one.
What did we say? Edmonds?
I call Edmonds pick.
Mike Hilton
sack. I said Ray for the punt return touchdown. You said McFarland for 50. We just keep going down this list. We gonna be fine. Matter of fact, James counted 100 yards rushing as well, man. Let me think. What else is the X Factor, man?
James Washington, a few catches.
I feel strip sack TJ, strip sack Bud.
It's true. Those are all X Factors.
Just keep throwing out. Just keep throwing. Anybody's X Factor this week, man. But I'm holding true, man. Ray McCloud. That's the one for me.
Okay.
Ray.
He's due, dude. He's definitely due.
He is, man.
Well, you speak of Edmonds. I mean, is there some Pro Bowl consideration for him this year? What does he need to do for that? Is it just strictly stats? Because I don't know. He's been playing really good. I mean,
Pro Bowl is based a ton on stats and popularity. That's typically how it goes. I've seen guys that have had way better numbers not get the nod, not even be an alternate. I've seen guys that didn't even play in their, first guy in, just depending on the popularity. So,
what do you think of Bud's year this year versus last year? Do you think he's been better or worse?
I think he's been better this year. I think
because there were some really impactful plays with him and TJ with those strip sacks.
I felt like last year though. I feel like last year he definitely should have got in, especially when you look at some of the guys, especially when we went to the alternates.
Judon, yeah.
Like I felt like his numbers were better, his plays were more impactful and meaning. But in terms of this year, I feel like it's a similar situation. I mean, he's very consistent. He's balling out. I would just have to look at who are the other available names because we talked about Khalil Mack and Von Miller last year, right? Neither one of those guys necessarily did anything remotely to the level of Bud or TJ, but they both were the shoo-ins because of name. So that's why for me, I'm like, well, who else is out there from a name standpoint? Obviously, Von's not out there this year because he's hurt, but it's like, who else is out there that could potentially, that is going to get in based off of name alone? And then from there, you start working your way down.
Because I think he's at 7 sacks, but compared to last year, it's like a quiet 7. Because, man, there was I think the Bengals game, he basically closed it out with that strip sack and the recovery. But I feel like
it was a lot more drama in the games last year because it was either a tie or us losing.
Yeah, because you could even say TJ sacks, he's been quiet.
Whereas, but the thing is, and this is what we talked about from just an individual award standpoint with Ben and Claypool and those guys, we're like, they're winning and it's convincing, but it's not enough of the theatrics. It's not enough of the stuff to make you watch. Oh my God, this really is like when we would watch TJ and Bud last year, like you said, they were bailing us out of games. You know how different of a conversation it is that, oh, he had a sack, but they were already up 2 scores. I mean, it's cool versus, man, he had a sack with 4th quarter, 2 minutes left on the clock. They were down. Like that gave him an opportunity to come back. Like this, the narrative is different. So you're absolutely right.
That's what pisses me off, because he should have clearly made the Pro Bowl last year.
And no question.
But he's even having, in terms of just oh man, I'm botching this stuff. In terms of sacks, he's probably gonna be on pace for more this year. I think he will. But it's a little quieter. Right now, he's more, So he should make the Pro Bowl again this year. I just hope maybe the buzz will get there for him. Yeah. As opposed to last year, I feel like the buzz was there for both him and TJ, where he should have made it over Judon. You talk about Von Miller as well.
Absolutely, man.
I'm hoping that's the case this year. Maybe it was last year for everyone to say, man, Bud got snubbed.
Another thing that's going to benefit them, and it benefited the Ravens last year. The Ravens went 14-2. Remember, they had a league leading, I think it was 11 or 12 people. No, it might have been more than that made the Pro Bowl roster. True. When you're on a team that wins a ton like that, and obviously the Steelers are doing that, that also means a lot to the voters, because they're going to say, well, man, this team is stacked. They're winning every single game. And these guys, even though his numbers aren't the best, he's a key part. We've seen him enough, and that will get you voted in there as well. Because some of the people from the Ravens last year, we were both saying, like, I mean, that dude's good, but he's not a Pro Bowler. But when you're sitting at 14-2, you got the league MVP. It's kind of hard to persuade the voters to look elsewhere. I think that will also benefit the Steelers this year because of the trajectory that they're on. And I mean, down the stretch, they have what, 3 of your for the casual viewer, right? 3 of the quote unquote bigger games when you're looking at the Ravens, the Bills, and the Colts. But the rest of those games are still very favorable in terms of they're going to be able to continue to put up numbers. They're going to continue to be able to keep winning as well. So they're going to end with a very, very favorable record. And I think that's going to help them out a ton also when it comes to the Pro Bowl voting.
How many of those are primetime? Bills? Is it Bills and
I think
Ravens?
Bills, Ravens, yeah.
There's one more, because didn't we talk about before the season? There's 4. Is it Colts? Is it going to be the Bengals again?
I don't know which one it is of those 2, but you also we might get a flex in there.
But having 3 primetime games like that might help the visibility and stuff like that.
I mean, the fact you're playing on Thanksgiving, that's going to be huge, because you know that's all eyes on you. I mean, even last year with the Bills, that kind of catapulted Josh Allen into the conversation where he's at now because of the performance they put on the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. When you can ball out on Thanksgiving, man, that's all eyes on you. I love that. Even though it sucks playing on holidays, those holiday games are more watched than your Monday night and Sunday night football games. Like, there's that big of a deal. Playing on Thanksgiving multiple times, playing on Christmas multiple times. As much as it sucked in terms of the logistics of being away from the family, man, when you talk about you make a play during those games, you know every single body. There's no debate. It's not like a Monday night game where, oh, you got some people watching, or a Sunday night, oh, they might stay up. No. On Thanksgiving, everybody's watching football. We know that. On Christmas, everybody's watching football. And I think that's going to be another huge reason why we do see a lot more guys in the Pro Bowl from the Steelers this year, man.
Need to step up, though.
Absolutely, man.
That's the end of the day. Yeah. We could talk about the hype and the visibility.
Man. Make it happen in those moments, man. Make it happen in those moments. I think we will, though.
We're built for it.
I definitely think we will, man. I definitely think we will. So I'm excited about that. Another thing that I'm excited about. We ain't do our score predictions yet.
I know. Are we done? Are we done with breaking down the game? I think we laid it out pretty good.
I think we did as well. So yeah, listen, you ready to go score predictions? I'm 27-13, man.
Okay. I mean, I think that's another good score for this week.
Can I go 27-13?
No. I think you heard the people. You saw some of the comments. They were like,
I did, and I was frustrated too.
I'm not gonna lie. Understood.
I was hoping that they would hit me in the comments like, "Yo, Deke, you overreacted, man. Let Moats take 27-13." Nah, bruh. Everybody, I'm talking, whether it was social media, whether it was YouTube, I mean, it was TikTok, it was IG, I mean, wherever you want to look at it, man, everybody said to say, don't touch 27. I'm like, God dang. Between the 27-13 and your beard, those are the big comments, man.
Yeah.
So since I can't take 27-13,
that's another good score for this week, I think.
I love that score for this week, actually. I will go with...
Give us 30.
You know what? Why not? Why not go 30? I'm going to go 31 to... I'll go 31-10.
Whoa. I thought you were going to say 14.
No, I don't think they're going to move. This is my only issue. I don't think we score like that because of the style of play.
We get that punt return touchdown, though.
That would help. Absolutely, that would help. But like I said, because of the style that they play, I don't think we score a lot. I just think it's convincing. But since I can't take 27-13, I shall go with 31-10. So there you have it. Actually, I should say 31 to like 11 or something, some weird score. You know, make it like, how do you get that? Was it a
missed extra point or something?
It's something just janky. But 31-10 is the score that I will go with for this week, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm good with that. 27-13 for me.
Well, I'm glad you got to just kick with your pick. It must be nice.
Good.
Must be nice, man.
I'm good.
Must be nice.
Yeah, not much thinking going on there.
All right. But it's cool. It's cool. So we're good with the score prediction, so I'm not complaining about that. Something that doesn't take a lot, well, it does take some thinking, but don't worry, I did the thinking for you guys, okay? And it's with my DraftKings people. For anybody that doesn't know, the podcast has been brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook and app. Number one, they're safe. Mm-hmm. Number two, they're secure. But more importantly, they are reliable, something that we absolutely love. And also with DraftKings Sportsbook, if you use the promo code Moats for all my first-time users out there, you'll receive up to $1,000 in deposit. You hear that accent? Deposit bonus money right there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a perfect scenario. But for me this week, you know, I always like to get my picks.
I know.
Right?
I'm ready to hear this.
All right. So for this week, we're going to stay with the Steelers, but we're also going to step out the box a little bit. All right. So I got two scenarios right here.
Whoa.
So the first one is, of course, we got Ben over under 1.5 touchdowns.
They have it out already.
They already have it out.
No.
Absolutely, man. I checked it literally at 2:20. I looked at it right before we got on. And I said, okay, they had some of the prop bets. I don't know why they got it out so early this week, but they have it out. Usually they don't have it out until Sunday, but they had it out today. So Ben Roethlisberger to go over 1.5 touchdown passes in a game. So essentially just throw for 2 or more. So this is the thing. So the odds aren't good. The odds are minus 200, right? But you know me. I'm a parlay guy, and this is why.
Okay.
You take, because we definitely think that Ben is going to throw for 2 touchdowns or more. That's all he has to do. 2 touchdowns or more, passing touchdowns. He's going to get that. But the thing that I like is this. I don't like touching the Steelers in this game, money line or spread. The spread is 10. Money line, the odds are minus 400. I hate both of those. But what I do like is this. Chiefs to beat the Raiders. Chiefs minus 8. Okay, Chiefs.
You got the spread?
Yeah, the spread is 8.
The minus 110, minus 115.
They're minus 110. But remember this, with the Raiders, their starting defense, as we just talked about, their starting defense, all 11 defenders are not practicing from Wednesday to Saturday. They are not practicing. They can play in the game on Sunday, though. So you mean to tell me versus Patrick Mahomes, you're going to have your whole starting defense, not a safety, not a linebacker, the whole defense not practice and then play against Mahomes, and you're going to give me 8? I think that he definitely lights them up and wins by probably 14, maybe even a little bit more than that.
We saw his interview. He was pissed.
Absolutely. Because
he's ready to go.
And on top of that, it's bad blood because the last time when the Raiders beat the Chiefs earlier in the season, they took a victory lap around the stadium. Chiefs found out about it. They've been very perturbed. So this is the thing. So I told you, right? The Chiefs to win minus 8. Okay, is at negative 110, and then for Ben to throw over 1.5 touchdowns, it's minus 200. They're not the best odds by themselves, but when you parlay them, your odds are plus 186.
I like that.
That is beautiful right there because for a fact, both of those scenarios are going to happen. And when you bet the money the way you're supposed to do it, baby, that parlay makes terrible odds great odds. So those are my picks this week, baby. Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook. Like I said, make sure you download the app and use the promo code Moats, baby.
That's great. I might just copy that one.
Yes, dude. Yes. When I saw it, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And typically, like we said, they don't have the prop bets out this early. But the fact they had them available today, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in right now. Lock me in. And that's the thing, too. When it comes to some of these bets, you want to get locked in when you get these scenarios because as it gets closer,
a lot of people might like that Big Ben.
Yes, absolutely.
The odds might get a little bit worse there, or they might kick up the touchdown total.
They'll kick up the touchdown total because they did do that. So they initially would have his under a little bit different. And this week, they have the unders odds are like absolutely just ridiculous. It's like minus 350 or something like that. Whereas typically it's right in that minus 110 range. So it's not bad. But because they know the secondary of the Jaguars isn't the best, that's why they're doing the odds like that. But I'm concerned with this Chiefs game. If you wait to lock in the bet as it gets closer to Sunday, if the Raiders have a player that, even though they're doing the high risk, that's where they're quarantining, they'll still be able to play. If one of those 11 dudes tests positive and they're down that guy, I think the odds move even more, and then it's not as favorable. So that's the only thing with things like this, man. You got to catch it while you can because Vegas is smart. They will move that line to influence that betting to go a little bit different, man. But I'm enjoying it, man. I am enjoying
Download the app and lock in your picks.
Absolutely, man. Don't waste no time, baby. Don't waste any time. So, we got anything else today, man? What we got? Anything?
I don't know, dude. I think I'm good.
Topics? I think I'm good over here as well, man.
Outside of the NBA draft last night, I got nothing else.
Yeah,
I really
good,
don't.
Man.
LaMelo to the Hornets.
Absolutely. Prayers up for Klay Thompson. They just announced that he tore his Achilles,
that's
man.
sad, man.
That sucks. Obviously, he was recovering from the ACL injury, and that was he was cleared from that, but ended up tearing his Achilles. It got confirmed today, so definitely keep him on our thoughts and prayers, man. We'd love to see him come back because the game is more fun when you have players like Klay Thompson out there, man. It's more fun when you have the competition around. And for me, as much as I'm a LeBron guy, this means a lot in terms of helping the Lakers out. It's still not as fun that way, man. I want to see him versus
you missed
the
them
best
last
players.
year.
Absolutely,
you missed
man.
The Warriors,
it didn't feel the same, man. So definitely, got him in our thoughts and prayers, man. So other than that, man, I think we're good.
Harden to the Warriors.
Is he going? Is he going to go?
I'm just saying, Wiseman and Wiggins and maybe another pick.
Yeah.
Salvage the season. I don't know, man.
Hey, you never know, man.
A Harden Curry backcourt.
We're going to see. That's a very ball-dominant backcourt right there, man.
So you like the Nets then?
I like Harden to go to the Nets, but I'm trying to figure out the dynamics.
I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know who the hell's taking that deal. The only two trades I can see working is Beal for Harden or Simmons for Harden. That's it. I don't know why the Rockets would accept anything else.
But then even if you're Brooklyn, how does that work? Kyrie is very ball dominant. Harden is very ball dominant.
I think it's you just take the chance.
I understand that. I feel like in some of these scenarios where we've seen big threes and super teams created, typically they all play off of each other, right? I felt like the only time we kind of were wondering how that dynamic would work was initially with Paul George and Kawhi. We were like, they're both swing men, both, more off-ball players, great defenders, but they need somebody to facilitate and get them into the action. And then from there, Kawhi can take over and Paul George can take over. But right there, I'm just like, with Harden and Kyrie, like neither one of those guys play well when they have to be off the ball. We seen Harden disappear when Chris Paul was having to be the ball dominant guy. And we know for Kyrie has to have the ball.
Even last year with Westbrook down the stretch in some of these games, he's just standing off in the corner.
Yeah, he doesn't move if he doesn't have the ball. So to me, that's my only concern. I'm like, Durant can do either or. Durant, he can have the ball in his hand. I feel like he's the guy who should have the ball in his hand of those three. But I feel like that's the power struggle.
Would it be different playing with Durant, though, maybe? He's got the chips.
I don't know.
Maybe he has more respect for Durant, where it's like, I'll sacrifice my game a little bit.
I feel like
trying to get this championship.
But see, the thing is, I feel like, number one, Kyrie doesn't respect Durant's chip because I feel like Kyrie earned his a lot more. I mean, think about it realistically. If you're talking to Kyrie, Kyrie's like,
you're saying Kyrie's going to be the one that's going to be.
Kyrie feels like I should be the guy. I should have the ball in my hand. I'm a champion. I've done that.
He's not wrong.
And I used to play with LeBron.
He's not wrong.
So
I like Kyrie.
Right. Whereas with Durant, they can make the case that Durant, when you did it by yourself, it didn't work. You had to go join Golden State. And then for Harden, it's like, well, Harden, you take over regular season, but playoffs, we know what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
See, I could see that feeling with Kyrie towards Harden. I don't know if he can have that towards Durant because I feel like Kyrie needs that guy like Durant or LeBron to win the chip.
I feel like Durant is superior from a talent standpoint to Kyrie. I just feel like mentally, Kyrie views himself. And man, dude, you remember what Kyrie said when he was like, I forgot, it was something like he hasn't played with a player like Durant or something along like the little subtle shot to LeBron. It's like he thinks he's up there in that category. Like he really does. And we're like, Kyrie, you're a great player. We're not taking that from you, but you're not in that class. You're just not. Yeah. But I don't think he views himself as not being in that class. And that's why I think you have that issue with him and Durant from that standpoint. I think Harden, you can get away with it because Harden hasn't had success in the playoffs. But Harden has a regular season MVP. That's something that Kyrie doesn't have. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. If it does play out, it'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah. That'll be crazy.
And who's the coach there right now?
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash, yeah.
And they brought in D'Antoni as an assistant.
Yeah. The old Suns roster. That's right, yeah. And this is Steve Nash's first opportunity as well, so that's a lot, bro.
I think he was just
a lot, man.
He had to have been just so excited just to be coaching Durant and Kyrie. Like they have a decent core around them.
Right.
Now all of a sudden Harden wants out, and now it's looking like him to the Nets. It's like, oh shit. It's probably one of those things. He'd be excited a little bit, but then also at the same time, it's like I can't screw this up. There's too much talent here.
You'll end up like Doc Rivers. You saw what happened to him, man. Hey. Doc, they fired Doc after that playoff performance, and we both could agree that, man, Kawhi sometimes in the games, and then definitely pandemic PG-13. Lord have mercy. Yeah, it was very, very painful to watch.
Yeah, maybe the team wasn't constructed as good as we thought for the
shout out to Patrick Beverly, though. So you're good, man.
Well, they're looking at Rondo.
I know.
I think that's going to happen.
I know.
It's them or the Hawks.
Yeah, and because obviously the Lakers just got Schroeder as well. So I actually do like that a lot. That's a great move. I like that a lot.
That's a great move. Yeah. They'll probably get another shooter or something too here.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, it's East will be interesting now with some of these Bucks moves, but Bogdanovich is saying he doesn't want to do the trade.
So that could throw off the whole Bucks movement right there, man.
Which if it helps Giannis's potential movement to the Mavs, I'm all about.
All right, there we go.
We need to see that. I mean, a Giannis, Luka, dude, come on.
Make it happen.
That needs to happen. It definitely does. Because you'll have that with the combo of LeBron in his twilight years. Who knows if the Warriors can get back a little bit? Like that would be a really good like rivalry or just thing to happen in the West.
No, I agree, man. I think I'm with you 100%, bro.
I think Giannis needs it. He needs a guy like Luka.
Luka is good enough that Luka can create his own shot, can shoot. It's not like Middleton. Middleton is a poor man's all-star in terms of he can produce when there's not a lot of pressure, but when it's time and it's everything on the line, he's not that type of player. He's more a role player then. I look at it like if we're talking football, he's a high-end number 2 receiver, but not a number 1. And there's nothing wrong with that. No. But with Giannis, you need another number 1.
Like it could be Curry, it could be Luka, it could be Harden even.
Yeah, any of those guys.
Like someone like that.
Everything for Giannis, man.
It'd be dope if it's Luka. Because, dude, Luka's what, like 21?
Oh, he's
Giannis is what, 26? That would be an incredible run.
It'd be nice, man.
I don't know how it happens, though.
We shall see. All right, so is there anything else we got?
I'm good, dude.
Well, I like it then, baby. So, appreciate everybody for tuning in as always, man. Here we go. Still, it's time to get to number 10 and 0. And until next time.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. We got the man out of Western Michigan University. Shout out to the MAC. His third year in the NFL. Starting linebacker of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Without further ado, the playmaker himself, Mr. Robert Spillane. Robert, man, how you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. My family is big fans of you guys, so thank you.
Man, major respect, man. We appreciate you, and man, you already know it's all love, baby. Yes, indeed. So just talk a little bit, man. How have you been handling this opportunity, man? I mean, you go from, not getting these opportunities to now you're the starting inside linebacker of the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. What's it been like for you?
It's really been a fun opportunity to go out there and play defense, but more than anything, I think it's been an opportunity to show people that I can play this game at a high level. Mm-hmm. And I love this game, and I play this game with passion for my teammates. And I just thrive off of them. So I thank them for trusting me with this opportunity.
Nah, I like that, man. And trust me, we've talked to a couple of the guys as well, especially on defense, and they all rave about you, man, between your work ethic, your preparation, your playmaking ability, man. So they believe in you as well, man. So that's an awesome thing to see. Now, when we're just talking about also like watching you on tape with your extended role, I mean, dude, not only are you starting on defense, but you're still playing special teams as well. So what has that been like for you, man?
I love special teams, and special teams is what ultimately gave me an opportunity to play linebacker in this league. Danny Smith does a great job of getting me off the field. So now I'm only on punt, and punt is that thing that you can't be lacking in. Anytime you punt the ball, it's a critical play, and we understand that, and I understand that. So I'm more than happy to go out there and protect and then cover for the punt unit. And that's been great so far.
Now, is Danny Smith still chewing like 30 pieces of bubble gum on practice?
Of course he is. Of course, Danny Smith. Same dude as always. Hey. He probably has the same meetings that he did 30 years ago.
Saying the same old jokes, man.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
Now, the Derrick Henry tackle at the goal line kind of broke the internet a little bit. Now, how much text or how much just fanfare did you receive after that hit? Like, did you have someone hit you up that you wouldn't have expected? Like, what type of, volume of text and things that were said you were coming in?
Of course, the family was excited. They were big time juiced up in Chicago, and it was fun. They have videos of them just going wild, absolutely crazy. But it's always fun to after a game to see that. But like I said, a lot of people reached out through social media and text and all of that. But what was one of my favorite things is that Randy Moss on Monday Night Football said that he was a fan and he was cheering for me. So anytime you get, one of your favorite players growing up, a gold jacket guy, probably the best receiver of all time, to say that about you, it's just that respect is real, and I'll always remember that moment.
That's awesome. How was the shoulder after that play? Was that the hardest hit you've taken?
It was just for a play or two. It happens to guys, so it's just one of those things.
Which highlight have you looked up the most between that one or the Lamar Jackson pick six?
I love hitting Derrick Henry in the hole, and there's really no better feeling for a linebacker than to win that matchup successfully. But I also think it was important to show people that I can cover in space.
Absolutely.
And I can play his own coverage. So it was a little bit of mix, and I think it was important to come back and show people that I can cover. One of my favorite plays personally on the year is the third down against the Ravens, where I was able to get a PBU. Maybe it's not a big play in the stat books, but just that and showing that I can be comfortable in coverage, man-to-man or zone. So
absolutely.
Come on.
And I'll say this too, man. Watching you on tape, you can see just how smart you are in coverage as well, using your leverage, staying square when you're supposed to, man, zone eyes versus man eyes. I mean, you're very fundamental. And to me, that's one of the things I'm so impressed with when I watch you. It's just like, dude, you make sure, even though you're making big plays, you're still very technically sound. And I think that's the mark of one of the best things you can have as a linebacker.
Well, I really appreciate the kind words. And, I pride myself on understanding the role of the defense and where I am. And when you realize the bigger picture of the schemes that we're doing and the way that we're playing defense, I don't have to cover a receiver anywhere he goes on the field. I have to understand my role in the defense. And like Coach Tomlin always says, don't get beat to your leverage. Don't get beat to your leverage. And then be competitive away from your leverage. And I think as a whole secondary, we've been able to do that for the most part throughout the season. So it's really good to see.
Absolutely, man. So knowing your grandfather's legacy, man, being a Heisman Trophy winner, just talk about, man, how big of a deal was it for you to make it to the NFL and ultimately be successful?
It was always something that I wanted deep down inside. And when I was growing up, you fill out those sheets. What do you want to be when you're older? An NFL player. What do you dress for? As a Halloween costume from first grade to when you stop dressing up, a football player every single year. So it's something that's always been on my mind. And, you never think in college, oh, I'm going to be an NFL player, or high school even, that I'm going to be a college player. You just go day by day, enjoying the process, and good things have happened so far. So I'm just going to continue on what I've been doing.
I love that, man.
Was there any plan B at all? I know you said you're taking it day by day, but what's something maybe you would be doing if you weren't an NFL player? Is there something that you were thinking about then?
I try not to, honestly. And actually, when Coach Fleck presented me that question in college, most kids on the team had, I want to be a businessman. And I always said that, this is my option and this is what I'm going for.
I love it.
And that's like what I've been putting my mind to. I went to college to play football in a sense. And I love this game and what it's taught me, and the people that I get to be around and work with on a daily basis are special people. So I really appreciate everything about it.
No, that's dope right there, man.
Which was the most frequent Halloween costume? What NFL player?
Honestly, usually it was a jersey that I was wearing for that season. So, I'm not even lying to you. I usually dress up as myself almost, because we didn't have a lot of NFL jerseys, so I wore the jersey that I had.
Oh man, I love it. That's awesome, right there.
Yeah,
I'm Robert Spillane this year for Christmas. For Halloween. Yeah. Yep. This is 13-year-old Robert Spillane. Last year I was 12-year-old. Man. Yeah. So talking about a little bit, of you at Western Michigan, man, just take us back to how you even ended up there. Just through your recruitment process and things like that, man.
After junior year, I was just starting to get recruited, starting to get letters, a little interest here and there. And Coach Fleck and Coach McGargle at Western Michigan, the linebacker coach there, invited me to come out there for a day. And they had a bunch of kids there. And while I was there, I was awarded my first scholarship to Coach Fleck. And it was a long day. We toured everything. There was probably 50 kids there, and he was offering a few of them scholarships. So he offered me a scholarship in his office, and he said, I want you to be my first commit to row the boat. And no one ever showed that type of belief in me as a player the way that he did. And I respected him, and I wanted to be a part of that opportunity at Western Michigan. So I committed to him that night and pretty much closed down my recruitment process from there on out.
Dang, that's tight though, man. And you hit it on the head, man. When you find that place where they love you, yeah, man. Why waste any more time? So I can respect that a lot.
I'm 2.5 hours away from home in Chicago, and that was always a big thing to me to have family.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm one of 5. My dad's one of 11. My mom's one of 8, and I have 50 first cousins in Chicago. So they were able to make a lot of trips out to Kalamazoo, and it was a fun 4 years there, I must say.
All right. There we go. Big support base right there, man. So
yeah, big family.
So this Sunday, man, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And we understand what James Robinson has been able to do, their running back as well. So just talk a little bit about how you plan to stop him, and more importantly, what y'all have to do as a defense to be successful on Sunday.
Overall, James Robinson, after watching him play and his tapes from this year, they speak for himself. He runs angry like an undrafted running back you would expect, but he also has a lot of skills and talents. And getting off blocks, his contact balance, getting off would-be tacklers. So you know that it's going to take 11 people to bring this dude down. And we're focused and committed to playing good run defense, making tackles when they present themselves and being good against blockers. So I think if we do that as a whole, as a front seven especially, with that, good things will happen. Force them to get into 3rd and long with their rookie quarterback is a plan for success.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, what's this story I'm reading online about you swimming with sharks out in the Bahamas?
What?
Could you break down?
Swim with the sharks? Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Well, my thing is, any chance that you get to swim with sharks, do not pass it up, because it's a special thing. I mean, I love swimming in the ocean or shark tanks. Either way, it's something that I hope to do again soon. One of these off seasons, maybe go cage diving with some great whites.
Well, hold on. I was going to ask. So we're swimming with the sharks. How does that work? Were you not in a cage, or were you in a cage?
No, we were just, being stupid college kids. We were at the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl down in Atlanta. So there's shark tanks everywhere on the property, pretty much. And there was one, that was walking distance. You could kind of walk into it, and I kind of fell in there, you could say, by accident. And just was able to swim around the tank for a little bit.
Wow. The legend of Robert Spillane continues to grow. Let's go.
Did you have any interactions with the shark? Like what is going on when you're in the tank?
You're just so calm about it too. I just kind of fell in there, just swam around, and got on out. What?
Well, earlier that day, I always wanted to swim with sharks, but earlier that day, I saw people cleaning out the tanks, so I felt relatively safe going in there. And I have friends from college, they're videotaping this thing, and they're like, "Oh my God, Spillane's going in with the shark." So it's actually pretty funny.
I like it.
Why sharks? Do you have a fascination with sharks?
No, I just have a fascination with, being out in nature, and I do enjoy sharks particularly, so.
Is there anything else on your list now in terms of adventure, something on the bucket list?
Yeah, maybe go skydiving with my sister.
Okay.
She's been trying to get me to go for a while, so hopefully do that and stop, coming up with reasons not to do it.
well, can you wait till after the season? I just, you know what I mean?
Oh, of course. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure that's part of the contract.
I was like, hey, just don't do that just yet. You can do it in March. Yeah, wait till March and April time frame, baby. That is funny, man.
You know.
So, Robert, we got 2 more questions for you, man. The first one, though, just talk about the best player that you've played against so far, man.
Oh, that's a hard question to go up against. I mean, there's different blockers, runners.
Absolutely.
And, personally, it's going to be a weird answer to a lot of people, but one of the toughest people I've ever had to tackle was Kareem Hunt. And, that's from going up against him at Toledo. At Western, I know what type of player he is.
I didn't even think about the connection right there. Yeah.
And so I know what type of player he is, and just to think that he's a backup with Nick Chubb, 2 starting running backs on that team, they have a lot of talent. So I respect that guy, and I'm excited to get to go up against other great players. James Robinson is going to be a big challenge, so excited for him this weekend.
I like that. Now, last question we have before we let you go, man. Talk about your welcome to the NFL moment.
Do you really want my welcome to the NFL moment?
Oh, yeah. That's the one right there. That's the one I want. That one.
Well, I think it was kind of set up, but so I'm with Tennessee on practice squad for the first 8 weeks, and I get welcomed into the NFL on my first punt of my career. First play ever, a snap with defensive stay from the Baltimore Ravens. First game I ever play in, and they rush like no other, and I get a double team from, I want to say it was 99 and 90 from 2 years ago, and they actually said, "Welcome to the NFL," type of thing. And they were kind of burying me into the ground on the first play. So that's how it started, but it's going better now.
Absolutely. Trust me, we all go through it, baby. We all go through it. Well, Robert, man, we definitely appreciate you again, man. You were a blast. Wish you nothing but the best going forward, man. So just stay safe and keep being great, all right?
Hey, I appreciate you guys both for having me on. Have a good one.
No doubt, man. Yep, appreciate it.